Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'll be going over all the important future updates of Fallout 76 that was recently revealed at Quake Con. Those of you who are familiar with my channel know I like to keep things short and straight to the point. So although this video is way longer than the rest, I have provided timestamps for you so you can simply click on what information interests you and go straight to it, rather than sitting through the whole video. But if you have time and want to soak in all the information, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Our first topic are updates regarding Nuclear Winter and the reveal of a new location.
The number one request that you guys have asked for is a change of location. So we have been working hard at doing just that. So very soon we'll be taking the battle to the town of Morgantown. What we wanted to do was find something completely different than Flatwoods. And Morgantown offers us that. It's a lot more urban. There's a lot more verticality to it, and so it'll be a whole new way for you guys to battle each other and a new map to master.
The reveal of a new location was much needed as people are beginning to get familiar with the loot drops and terrain of the current location being Flatwoods. Next is some quality of life improvements regarding Nuclear Winter.
Any upcoming quality of life improvements?
I've got one for so we're adding one to Nuclear Winter that people have requested quite a bit. It's we're calling it Perk Choosing. What it does is when you get a new perk card and it's a duplicate, we're giving you tickets you can redeem to basically purchase perks with those tickets you get for selecting your own perks. So right now perks are basically kind of randomized inside Nuclear Winter, but with Perk Choosing you get to craft your own deck based on the dupes you get. So that was a big request and that's going in relatively soon. So people can get to Frog Leg sooner or anything else that they want sooner. So that's one that we're putting in from a quality of life perspective on the Nuclear Winter side.
The ability to craft your own deck seems much more useful than the current perk system, so I'm glad that's finally being added in. One of the following questions in the stream was regarding balancing changes in Nuclear Winter.
Can players expect any balance changes for weapons and armor coming down the line?
For Nuclear Winter, yes. It's something we've continued to do. I think every update we've done some level of balancing either to perks or to weapons. We'll continue to do it. As something feels overpowerful, we'll adjust. If we see something not being used enough, we'll boost it. Yeah, we'll do it.
Unfortunately, that doesn't answer anything about people currently hacking and cheating in the Battle Royale mode on PC. I've heard it's a big issue currently, and I'm hoping that does get resolved soon. The next segment leads into updates regarding Adventure Mode, which currently seems to be a bit lackluster. The future of it, though, seems to be promising, starting with the introduction of Vault Raids.
For Nuclear Winter, but you guys definitely haven't forgotten about Adventure Mode. In fact, a little while ago, you announced that Vault Raids would be coming to the game. How will these, Yes, thank you. Somebody's very excited. How will these work and when can players expect this content?
Want to take one, Chris?
Sure. So we are finalizing the first vault, which is Vault 94. It is a pretty expansive vault. We do think it will be very challenging. I myself have been challenged in the playtest many times trying to get to the end of it. I think some of the rewards are really cool that you're going to get out of it. Some that might actually help you hide a little better in the environment.
Yeah.
You should see one on the screenshots coming up here soon. When is it coming out? It should be in the next few weeks. I do believe we are hitting the finaling touches on it. Barring something really major unforeseen, we'll get it out soon.
And
Yeah, definitely August.
I'm excited for the Vault Raids as I've been craving something challenging I could take on with friends or solo if I'm feeling bold enough. Here's additional info.
how many players are these vaults made for?
The vaults are designed for 4 players. You can solo, duo, triple them as you will if you're a masochist. They're super hard, so just a little more context there. When you go in, you get to choose one of 3 different difficulty levels. The first one, I believe, is called Novice, and you go in. It's still very difficult, don't get me wrong. It's probably a good way to get used to the vault and the puzzles and how to handle it. It's very puzzle-based. You have to figure out, the right blend and balance between taking down mobs and opening doors and doing different things. The second 2 levels add a time pressure. The rewards go up. There's internal time pressures minute to minute, but this is a meta time pressure, so you have to do the whole thing in a certain amount of time. And remember, we're inside the vault. It's a great place we're legendary spawn, so you're able to farm legendaries in there. You'll get mid rewards halfway through and at the end, so if you fail at the end, you're not totally unrewarded. Obviously, you also get all the loot you gather in there.
I like that you're rewarded for your efforts even if you fail, as it would be annoying farming resources to attempt it and leave empty-handed. Now on to set bonuses.
we're going to put a new set piece armor in. You'll see it right there. It's the power armor with all the ferns on it. I call it the potted plant power armor. But it is super used for nuclear winter. It's a fun, exciting thing. And once you have the whole set, it gives you an additional bonus. So there's a new mechanic right into the game where we put set bonuses in the game, and you're going to be able to loot them out of the vault raids.
Set bonuses sound like an interesting concept if executed correctly. So what about other vaults?
Can we talk about any of the other vaults? Any differences in themes or challenges?
We are actively in development of a second vault, I'll be honest. It will be, we don't know when it's going to come out exactly, but it will be in the not too distant future. And if it depends on the community, right? If you like these and you want us to build more, we'll keep building them. We love them internally, so we hope you do too.
We do want to space out the release enough to where we can gather some feedback about Vault 94 and then act on it with Vault 96.
Yes.
Great.
So Vault 96 will also be a part of the raid as expected, and that experience will be based off of feedback. With all this new content we've had, let's talk about camp budget.
Are there any plans to increase the camp budget?
We are looking at ways to increase the camp budget. Yes, we recognize that, I mean, building is a very important part of the game, especially the Elder game. It's something that we see players who have played for a long time engage with very frequently. We see that both in direct community feedback and also in our own data on the back end. There is a trade-off to just increasing the entire budget. So we're looking at creative ways to give players more opportunities to build in different places in the world. Maybe, also with things like private servers and stuff like that, coming in the near future.
So private servers are finally brought into the equation once again. Everyone has been eagerly waiting for a chance to create their own server, but had no insight on when till now.
What was that?
Any news on private servers?
Oh, yes. They're coming sooner than you think. That's all I'll say.
Next up, we get news on seasonal events.
And I have one more question left. Fashnacht was fun. Are there any more events coming soon?
Yeah, we are working on some seasonal events. We're working on one for Halloween. We'll be working on some for early winter. And we love Fashnacht too, so we can't wait to bring it back as well.
And remember, next week is Meat Week. So if you haven't read about that online, the Super Meat Graham is going to be offering more seasonal-based events on collecting meats. So it'll be a ton of fun, and I'm sure the community will get a lot out of it. That should be coming in our next patch. Or sorry, next Thursday, 8/1 is our goal.
I'm happy to hear more seasonal events will be rolled out, as Adventure Mode really needs more reasons to bring players back, otherwise it's stale. Grinding the same events gets tiring. Now for information about the highly anticipated Wastelanders DLC and the addition of human NPCs.
Reestablishing human presence in the Wasteland, and now, I guess, despite the fact that nukes fly there every day, people want to come back. So we're getting, obviously Settlers and Raiders faction are coming back into the Wild Appalachia. There's going to be new settlements. They're going to fully infest the map. I just need to be clear. Like we're going to put new random encounters, points of interest. There's actually sub-factions, not just those two that will be involved here. There will obviously be dialogue with all those, a whole new quest line. We want to make sure this content's also sustainable. You just can't just do a main quest and be done with it. So you're going to be seeing this presence in the game going forward.
I personally can't wait for the world to feel more alive and more story-based content as stated right here.
I do think we will be leaning into this, going forward with more story, even as people complete this.
That kind of leads us into the next question. I mean, this is such a huge change to the game. How do you predict that the overall player experience is going to evolve with Wastelanders?
I think a lot of it's going to be feel. I think the world is going to feel more alive. It's going to be more variety of encounters. It's going to be a more varied world. Not just with the story, with people finding the raiders, finding the settlers, but also all the random encounters, the hostile raiders that you run into, some of the minor factions that we're not going to talk about yet. Things like that are going to dramatically change the game. Yeah,
I look forward to it. What's also interesting is the return of a reputation mechanic similar to New Vegas's, I'd assume.
One of the minor factions is going to be Occultists of the Mothman. Yeah. So while there are minor
It's
facts,
going to be Jess.
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be done. And remember that the raiders aren't just like, crazy cannibals. There's those kind of raiders, but the raiders in the settlement are more, they use extreme measures to protect themselves, right? The settlers, we try to dance within shades of gray, not just black and white. So the settlers have their own motivations as well. Some might be nefarious. You'll uncover those throughout the quest. And remember, as I'm sure as you folks all play games and I do, like there's a story I'm telling myself and the story the game's telling me. So this is the element of the game that we wanted to add back in, the story the game's telling me. This is really like you interacting with these NPCs, their motivations, their hopes, their fears, and influencing them, right, through dialogue and your actions. So within the dialogue trees, you will be able to go through them and using your specials, you'll be able to influence how those dialogues play out. But depending on your actions, we are putting a reputation system in, so you'll be able to align yourselves with one faction or the other, or play the middleman and play both, maybe double cross against each other. In fairness, you're not going to ever be locked into one or the other. You won't be making permanent decisions. So we're just super excited. The more and more about Wastelanders we hear, we were starting to see all the little POIs and the tiny little stories that come from these. So you can come across two raiders trying to kill a Brahmin. Do you decide to help those raiders? Do you decide to save the Brahmin? Do you decide to help the raiders save the Brahmin, then kill them all? It's all up to you. Have fun. Yeah.
I like the sense of being able to have choice again and different outcomes. Next up, we have information on perk cards and dialogue exchange with NPCs.
We already talked about how excited we are for the dialogue trees, but I think a lot of people are really curious with a game like this. How do the dialogue trees work compared to past titles? And also, how will they work with Fallout 76's perk card system?
So I think as Jeff mentioned, the attributes you put in your specials will give you more choices or different choices on the dialogue trees. So a character with more perception might have some different options versus another character who's more spec for charisma or for strength even. So that's how we expect it to play. So it should be different depending upon how the special points are allocated across your character.
It's also based on your actions. So you'll have dialogue choices available to you whether or not your reputation within that faction is good or bad or neutral. So the combination of those, and also remember, this isn't the Fallout 4 dialogue system. This is more like Fallout 3, where you have a list of stuff.
All right.
I agree. So where you have a list of things, and you'll be able to, you're not just limited to those sort of generic options, nor do the designers have to force the dialogue options for things that made no sense. So, we're, like I said, and the combination of the reputation system, the new dialogue trees, this is going to be a full-fledged RPG. We're super excited. And again, this is just the beginning of that. These are the tools we're building to create all future content as well.
The fact that it's based on Fallout 3's dialogue tree is awesome as it provides more options and opportunities like it did for players back then. Let's talk about companions on Fallout 76.
Introduction of NPCs and the factions and settlements. Will we also see the return of companions?
There will be companions. We're still iterating exactly on the mechanics of how they're going to work, but there will be companions that you can bring back to your camp, and then they will take you on various quests, and you can do things with them that are very specialized.
The key point is that mainly they're going to stay in your camps. They're going to be in your camp. On very specific quests, they will definitely accompany you to help you or hinder you or surprise you with certain things on your way. But remember that you can definitely romance these companions and go up and down favor with them depending on, again, your actions within the game and where they're aligned.
Curious to how companions will work since each player will have their own, I assume. Will they be unique? Let's talk guns and creatures.
Can we talk about anything else that's going to be coming with the Wastelanders update, including some of the new weapons that we saw in the concept art that we shared, or some of the new enemies, like that creepy guy from the trailer or anything, or new locations like Crater, which we saw in the teaser?
So
here's actually some more concept art of weapons that we're doing. We're doing a whole new Gauss tree, like of weapons, spread of weapons. Yep. Yeah. That guy is the Wendigo Colossus, so he does have a name. And he's the creepiest thing I think we put in the game. We put some creepy shit in that game. More plasma weapons. These are floaters. They're from, if anyone remembers, the original games. They're from the original Fallouts. We're also putting, obviously you saw in the trailer, archery and bows. And while that might seem a step back from submachine guns and nukes you can shoot, we're going to put new perks behind that. And so you're going to be able to use that if you're a more stealthy character or a hunter. We're also going to allow you to maybe strap dynamite to arrows and shoot them, which I love because I grew up with Dukes of Hazzard. So yeah.
Go full Hawkeye.
Nice, so when should we expect to get our hands on all of this?
We are shooting, like I said, for fall, we are targeting November. Okay.
Nice, what's the future hold?
What are some of the things that you guys will be focusing just in the months leading up to Wastelanders?
One of the things we are looking at doing in the very, very near future is making some changes to the event system. A lot of this does come with player feedback, like we're going to make fast travel to events free. We are going to make the events that are active on the map very visible in the UI. We're doing things like making sure that if you participate in the event, you have a chance to get a reward, as well as making the rewards more predictable. So I think it's a lot of changes around events that the players will like. And it's based directly on feedback that we've collected with that.
Yeah, we realize events are one of the cornerstones of our game. Obviously the community and the community systems, we're talking about Wastelanders and Nuclear Winter, but we are very big on continuing to support community-based events. And including this, and so you'll pull up your mini map. You'll be able to see how long the event's been going on, what the rewards are, fast travel there for free. We're also going to separate public events from regular events to better get people together playing those, make them a little harder, a little more rewarding, and more, like Chris said, more predictable.
New event system and updated map I agree is well needed. What about balancing and perk cards?
Also, for Wastelanders, we have 2 more big ambitious goals that will land at or around the launch of Wastelanders. One is we're calling it internally, it's a sort of a pointy hat word, renormalization. We're basically looking at the balance as a whole and trying to make sure that it's not, any new players coming in don't see a big wave of level 300 players and feel like they can't have fun and compete in the game. So we're gonna look at making that a little more, it's called normalized, where you take the highs and the lows and you sort of bring them together a little bit. Obviously, strong characters will still be strong, and weak characters will still have things they struggle with, but we're going to try to bring that in a little, especially for events and things, so players can engage and come together and help each other and support, which this community loves to do. Secondly, we've talked about this as well, the legendary perk system. So I'll give you a couple, I'm probably spoiling some advanced questions. They're looking ahead on me. So the legendary perk system, like we're being sort of vague on this because it's still, it's still being developed. When you're in game design, you have to iterate on things and you put them in the game and you have to try things and see what works and what doesn't work. And before you guys get to try things and see what works and didn't work. So anyway, what we're trying to do is basically, after level 50, around every 50 levels, you guys are going to hold me to this. It's probably going to change. You're going to get, you're going to be able to choose a special that you become legendary in, and then within that special, you're going to have an array of perk cards you can choose from just for that slot that you're then able to level up as well. So, and if you're already level 300, you'll get several of these right off the bat. And so you'll be able to get, yeah, it's cool. You'll be able to get new perks, super powerful perks, frankly, and you'll be able to then slot them in and use them on your character. And even cooler, we're adding sort of a new game plus in. You'll be able to go back, when you start a new character, you'll be able to then use those perks on the new character as well. So you'll have a leg up in case you want to start a new character. Yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
Becoming legendary sounds sick. I wonder if a prefix would be added to your name as well. Wonder how powerful the perks would be.
As Jeff mentioned, for Wastelanders, we're looking at doing a pretty big balance pass on the entire game.
Figured throw that in. They're still going to be doing a big balance change once it releases, hopefully not in a way it negatively impacts gameplay, but I'd like to be optimistic about it. With that being said, we are at the conclusion of this video. Those were the major pieces of information throughout that 40-minute stream I watched. If I missed anything, let me know. How do you feel about these upcoming updates? Excited or waiting to see how it plays out on launch? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video or found it informative, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already for more Fallout 76 content like this in the near future. Join the Discord if you'd like too. And until next time guys, peace.